You're live on that one. Here we go.
We're live on one. The other? Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up. Good evening. Welcome to the Goodwin Boxing Show. We've got a bit of a last day of school term feeling about us today because we're ill prepared. We're sat out in the sunshine and Brad's come from Club Tropicana for the evening. So we've got myself, Martin Theobald, Steve with us, Brad Pauls. Sorry to interrupt you texting your missus. And Adrian Burden over here. So we're going to come on to these two gentlemen. They've been busy over the weekend. But Steve, yourself, you've been busy over the weekend.
Well, we had a big show, didn't we? Big show went off. Everything happened: disqualifications, upsets, people coming in no condition to fight. Some great knockouts, some good title fights. It was a good show, really good show.
So let's start from the beginning. Then we had Nuruddin Madoon. Didn't do himself justice, did he? Right, let's be harsh.
I mean, let's be honest, he was calling out all the heavyweights, and the first person to give me sick was Ian Lewis on Twitter.
I saw Ian's.
And to be honest, you can't blame Ian. He looked shocking. He was overweight. He shouldn't have been in the ring. He embarrassed himself, and that's what we can say really about that. We're honest.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have turned up in that condition.
Yeah. So there were a handful of upsets, as you said. So
yeah, well, the home losers
Neil
Parry just didn't throw enough, and he just, I don't know what happened to Neil.
What I like about Neil on that was that I wrote the fight reports after, and I'm always nervous when somebody that I know loses a fight. Like when I see on Facebook, like Neil Parry has mentioned you in a comment, my first thought is, oh shit, he's not going to be happy about this. But he'd shared the fight report and said this is spot on. All I'd said was that he just didn't let his hands go for rounds 1 and 2. By round 3 started to, and I think Kev was in the corner with him with Terry. He just, at that point he started to, but it still wasn't enough because he was getting countered by Sheldon too often.
I think, I mean, it's not how you start in boxing, it's how you finish, and Neil's had a setback. Manny Pacquiao lost one of his early fights. It doesn't really matter. As long as he learns from it, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you certainly, Neil, if you're watching, you had the right attitude towards it, and exactly. The loss.
So you react, and unfortunately Luke Robinson, which was devastating, he got knocked out in a round by somebody he would beat 49 times out of 50, and unfortunately Saturday was the 50th time. He'll come back from that, he'll learn. He left his chin in the air, he'll learn not to do that again. He's a real good talent, he will come again. And obviously the other home fight lost with Sam Stokes, and we really can't say about that. That will be dealt with at the board, obviously.
Yeah, but then on to the more positive news, like these two lads either side of us over on show. Both got stoppage wins, which will...
AD done brilliant, and so did Brad's just stopping everything that moves, isn't he?
Yeah, which is good news, because we're not going to get punched later on, because if I'm honest, I don't fancy it. But yeah, these two lads, and then numerous other fights as well. So.
Yeah, and we've just... there's not been too much gone on because we've been preparing for the show, so we've made 2 new signings in the last week. Which we will reveal down the line. There's certain reasons I can't reveal them yet, but 2 new signings, a couple potentially coming. So the boxers are still coming to us. We're still increasing our stable, and things are going well. But we're moving on now to fixing up the September shows and working on those.
Which is Tyler Goodjohn, Johnny Garton.
That's going to be in one. Kay Prosper, Rakeem Noble.
Yeah,
which we can come on and we'll talk about that in a while. And plenty of other fights that are looking good for September we're working on. So there's loads coming in September, some really, really good fights.
Yeah, so out of the grudge match as well, the John McCallum, Dalton Miller.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 lads that you are involved with both of them.
Yeah, the right man won. John done the jab and grab scenario, he done the Klitschko tactics.
A lot, didn't he?
I mean, being honest, he jabbed, and then when he got in close, he held. Dalton didn't really know how to combat that, or John does fight like that, so I'm surprised that really should have been a bit more prepared for it, but he didn't know what to do when he kept getting tied up, and John was just out jabbing him and then holding him close in. Not the most prettiest thing to watch, that's his style, but if somebody learns that to beat John McCallum, you have to know what to do when he starts to work inside.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before, Brad, down at the gym when you worked with Terry. And I remember seeing you and Kev once working on getting out of a clinch, because I think after maybe your second fight, and you were saying that the opponent tied you up more than you wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're working on twisting the glove to get out of the
yeah, like working the angles with the arms and stuff like that.
So how important? How much do you work on it? 'Cause it's probably, you know, people that see professional boxers probably don't assume that you're spending your time training that element of the game. Like, you know, the assumption probably is that you spend your time hitting pads and sparring. But
yeah, I think it's preparing for all comers really, because a lot of fighters are going to try to tie you up when you're getting close, because you might be dangerous and close, and it's going to slow you down. And that's why Terry's teaching it, is because when these people come to tie you up, there is ways you can manoeuvre yourself where you can throw on the inside and keep the action flowing on the inside. And if you're a great inside fighter and they're trying to grab onto you and they can't do it and you're getting your work off, it's horrible for them, because that's their one way to slow you down, and you've took that away from them. So yeah, it's a vital skill to learn, definitely.
Yeah. And then Waddy as well was, you know, Danny Cousins was tough as they come, wasn't he?
He's a proper tough. He's a real good man, Danny Cousins, and a real tough man. He deserves to win some form of title because he really gives it all, and is really, really tough. But Waddy was just that little bit too skillful and knew too much. And you know, Waddy Camacho is above Southern Area level.
Yeah.
Danny Cousins could win the Southern Area title. It's just he wasn't just good enough to beat Waddy Camacho.
Yeah, and what a following Danny has as well, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
I was sat in front of them, and yeah, they were loud.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. And full credit to Danny, really nice guy as well. You know, the best man won, but it's not the end for Danny Cousins.
Yeah, and the Kelvin Young stoppage, do you think that was
I watched it back. I mean, I spoke. Well, you can remember, the referee knew the scores, and I asked, and the referee had it level going into the last
John
round.
Lewis, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was level going into the last round. Jack Morris had now dropped Kelvin Young. He was winning the round 10-8. So in reality, even if he'd survived and gone the distance, he wasn't winning the fight, and he was rocked. So he's made a split-second judgment, probably realising that on his card Kelvin was behind on the fight, and he stopped the fight. That's a referee split judgment. I know they've said no, but he was flawed also before. You know, I think you could have let him go on, but you know, at the end of the day, as it happens, Morris would have won whether it was a stoppage or 1 point. So I don't think it's that controversial.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought personally, I love Kelvin. I think he's a nice bloke and a good fighter, but I thought he was stopped at the right time. I think he was hurt. And,
you were the closest, weren't you?
Yeah, you don't want to. I know there's only 40 seconds left of the last round, so you, as a fighter, I'm sure you want to see it through to that end bell. But it's health and safety, you know, has to come above all else.
That's fair.
I think he and John Lewis did the right job, personally. That's my view of it. Are there any other highlights of it for you?
There was plenty of highlights. I mean, Brad and AD, I thought both of them performed really well. I mean, AD on his debut, he's got very limited experience before turning pro, so it was a great performance. And Brad's just wrecking everything. I mean, to go through a whole show, you could put quite a few highlights in, and then you'd probably upset those that you didn't mention. So it's probably, you know, you can mention Justin Menzie coming back after 2.5 years. Not so much for that performance, because that's what he should do against that opponent, but more that he's now got ready for the Bradley Price fight. So that was quite good from there. But there were plenty of good performances on the show, I thought.
Yeah. So going on to September then, as you say about, you know, we've got the traditional August break.
Yeah.
So September you've got big one, which is Garton Goodjohn.
That's a phenomenal fight. A phenomenal fight.
It's a TV fight.
Just not on TV.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, but I think it's going to be a great fight, and I think that show is going to be, well, the whole venue will be sold out on the 17th of September. It's going to be it's a great undercard on that show as well. It's a really, really great card.
Yeah.
With some really good.
And is that where Noble Prosper's going?
No, they're going on the 24th. They're going to go a week later. We just can't. We've got that show is pretty round out, so that will headline the 24th show.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of stuff on the social media today about that, hasn't there?
There has. I've seen some of it. I'm sure we'll get some comments.
I mean, let's just deal with it so that we get it out and done. Because
Take it head on.
I don't get involved in social media nonsense. But let's take this really simply. Kay Prosper will fight anybody. He's been mandatory for the Southern Area title for about 8 months. He wants to fight for the Southern Area title. Rakeem Noble was hoping to move on to an English title fight. So what we did is logical, is put a reserve thing in place that if Rakeem moved on for an English title fight, that he would fight Sia Osgood. It was always the clause in all the correspondence that the fight would only take place at this stage if Rakeem vacated.
Yeah.
Rakeem has not vacated. So should Kay Prosper fight Rakeem Noble, the Southern Area champion, for his title? Or should he fight Sir Osgood in a non-title fight? It's an insult to people's intelligence that people are writing stuff like that. Of course he's going to fight the champion, because the champion wants to defend. Things change in the world of boxing. The gym that's kicking up and moaning about this is the same gym that threw Wadi Camacho out because he wasn't part of their gym, that they wanted to be Manchester United, and to be in that gym you had to be managed and trained by that gym. It's the same gym that 3 weeks ago put out a status saying we welcome anybody under any promoter and any trainer. Now, they've changed their stance from a business perspective, right? That's fine. Nobody's criticising them for doing that. They're doing whatever they call from a business perspective. Kay Prosper has not changed his stance. All he's doing is fighting somebody for a title. Oscar will have to go and get himself mandatory and then fight the winner or fight for the title. So it's just nonsense to keep going on about it. Kay Prosper is going to fight the champion rather than some guy who holds nothing at the moment. Simple. Do that make sense?
Yep.
So stop putting all this crap on social media, because the people that are joining in with this obviously don't understand boxing and don't get it, because it's stupid. Any manager with half a brain is going to put his fighter in with a title fight rather than a non-title fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree completely.
Just stop. So I'm not going to comment on social media. You can go write a load more nonsense if you like, but it won't get a response.
I'm sure we'll get slated for saying it. Yeah, no, that's fine. And then you signed a couple more that you talk about at a later date.
Yeah, we've got some really good kid signed. Loads to look forward to, and a couple more. We've got 2 or 3 more meetings over the next week. It's nice that people want to come and join us. They appreciate what we're doing, and we look after everybody and try and build everybody up. And it's great. It's great from AD's point of view. We look after AD, and apparently AD was telling me that one of his other lads, who's not with us, was due to fight York all Sunday, and his fight was cancelled.
Oh yeah,
that's a shame.
The show
that was a shame, because and you understand why the promoter has cancelled it, but it is the risk of going on some small shows, because sometimes we all as promoters suffer financial losses, but you have to be able to withstand those losses and run with these shows whatever happens. There've been shows run under the Goodwin banner that have lost money before, but you just run with them. But I totally understand why a new promoter can't do that. And
reserves to.
Yeah, and I understand that, but that's why ADs have got the advantage that he's with us, because whatever happens, that's never going to happen to him.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing to touch on from the week was the purse bid results.
Yeah.
So Frank Buglioni's going up and fighting on the Crolla Linares.
Yeah, and the whole point was we had no problem with going up for that fight to fight on the Crolla Linares bill. It was just that the money that was originally offered wasn't enough. Yeah. So if you don't accept, you have to go with a purse bid of more than what you offered. So we did.
Yeah.
But very, very, very nicely, Eddie and Matcham went with a purse bid far in excess of what they offered. So now we got up there for the money that we'd been happy with in the first place.
So everyone comes out better off.
Everybody's happy.
Excellent. And the other one was Leon as well.
Yeah, Leon, we've done a private agreement in the end to do that. It's going to happen on the 12th of November. So it works out better on that date for everybody. And Leon's got his big opportunity, and there's been masses of interest for that. BBC, Sky have run articles on it. So that's going to be a fantastic bill and a fantastic night, and it's going to be great for everybody to be involved with. It'll be a brilliant night. And Leon, on paper, has got a 50-50 chance in that fight. It's a great fight. It's a big opportunity for him.
Yeah. And Leon was down at York all Saturday night as well, wasn't he?
I saw Leon.
With his little girl, bless her.
I'm not sure if he came to just have a wander or to support Dalton. I don't know what he was doing there. But no, it was good to see him. I'm not sure he stayed actually for the John McCallum Dalton Miller fight, but he just came to see everybody and see how everybody was. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, and his lovely little girl as well, bless her, who was very tired.
She's lovely, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, so that pretty much sums up, I guess, then.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be quietish now. All we'll be doing in the summer is sorting out the September shows and signing more boxers, which is I'm looking at the right quality ones that we want to have. Yeah. I do want to stress, we do not sign every boxer and any boxer. We have a wide choice of those that come to us, and then we're able to pick the ones that we do want to sign. So it's very important but it's important to get the right, in terms of the attitude of the boxer, the right quality, the right this. And to be honest, it doesn't matter which one it is, but there's one boxer been released this week. We do release boxers if they don't, for whatever reason, if it's not mutually the right thing. So it just happens.
Yeah. Have we got any interactions back there? I haven't got anything to check you on tonight.
Yeah, quite a few. Ryan, he says, "Hi Steve, what's next for Mark Little? I see he didn't fight on Saturday. When is he next out?"
Mark was injured, so he couldn't fight on Saturday. I spoke with Mark today. He's out on the 12th of November on the Leon McKenzie Jarmaine Smile undercard.
Robin Teakin, Brad won't stop me. Brad's a top guy. Robin Deakin, Steve, you've lost weight. Keith Johnson, Pim's O'Clock. I believe that's just Robina. Stuart Howe, I've seen Brad Pauls a few times. 2013 ABAs. If you don't know about him, boy, you're in for a treat. Gonna go far.
Happy with that?
Really happy with that.
Viola, Brad Pauls is a top fighter. I know him well from the South Coast. Big puncher, future champion.
He's just been handing out fivers. He's just been
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna-
just handing out money. Can you tweet a nice thing about me
Take both
tonight?
of us, tenner gone.
Daniel Love, Justin is ready. Robin Deakin says, "Get Ben Day, a British title, English title fight." CR Osgood, Steve Goodwin, let's get this out in the open. Is it you who doesn't want the fight, or is it Katie? So all this chat on chat shit get banged with
Charles, let's get this
bullshit.
right. I'm
You
gonna
even
say once,
replied,
he will
nothing.
fight you if you
show
have.
that's Katie Precious.
You right. So we
Goes
get this
on.
clear, and I'm not going to carry on. He would have fought you if the champion hadn't stood his ground. What is the point of fighting you for nothing when there's a champion that wants to defend his title? Wait your turn, like Katie did. I'm sure you'll get a big fight down the line. You're a talented kid. But this is now how it is. The champion is there. He's going to fight the champion. You fight. If you're a real man, you fight a champion, not somebody who hasn't got anything. The only reason you would have had something is if the champion had vacated and your fight with him had been for the title. You don't have anything to offer yet. I'm sure you will in due course.
Any others?
Yeah. Adrian Martin, Goodwin, good future. People saying you need to speak up a bit more. Kelvin Young Morris rematch. It's got to happen.
I'd like to see the fight again from a personal perspective because I
It was a
enjoyed
great
it.
fight. It was a great fight.
Like
It was a great
Kelvin, I
fight.
think you were brilliant in that fight, mate. I really enjoyed it. You were dominating the fight, and then you got caught at the end. But I had you winning it until the stoppage.
You've got to remember there are the logistics of how these fights are made. I will chip in now. Jack Morris, obviously, Kelvin would know this. As Kelvin would know, Jack Morris was the home fighter, and Kelvin was paid the purse.
Yeah.
And I accept that because Kelvin wants to go and earn money. Totally accept that. Jack Morris, as the champion, isn't going to do that again.
Yeah.
He's not going to pay and earn a very low purse to defend his title against someone. That makes no business sense. And that's why the fight doesn't really happen again, because he's not going to... Kelvin earned very well. Jack Morris would have earned not so well. He's not going to repeat that for that money.
Yeah.
He'd fight him again if the money was right. So, for example, if Kelvin had a promoter in Swindon who wanted to pay Jack Morris the money, that's different. But it's not going to happen in London with Jack selling the tickets to pay for Kelvin. That makes bad business sense.
Well, I see Paddy Fitzpatrick was talking about putting on Sam Smith. Who was on
Kelvin Young, yeah.
Sam Smith, Kelvin Young.
Although, to be honest, for Kelvin, apart from local pride, then he's selling tickets again to make that pay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't manage Kelvin. Keith Mayo does. Not so, I get it for Sam Smith. Not so sure I get it for Kelvin. But obviously they'll make their own decisions.
Yeah. For local interests over in Swindon, it's a good fight. But
yeah.
Couple of interactions on the Goodwin Boxing one. Tony Pauls, Brad, say hello to your Uncle Tony.
Oh, hello, Uncle Tony. Cheers for embarrassing me.
And JP Smith, Martin, why were you tweeting Larry Lamb on Sunday when I had to explain to you who he was on Saturday night?
Why? Because by Sunday I knew who he was. I only knew him as the dad out of Gavin and Stacey. I didn't realise he'd been in loads of other stuff. But yeah, by Sunday me and Larry were close. Yeah, there was some filming going on, weren't there?
What did you tweet him, Martin?
So?
What did you tweet him?
I took like a paparazzi style photo of him through the ropes and
A bit stalkerish.
just seeing if he enjoyed the action. Yeah, a bit stalkerish.
Did he reply?
He did.
Did he?
They're filming the
Hatton Garden.
Hatton Garden bank robbery job thing. But yeah, he replied, and yeah, he said he enjoyed it. Which, I mean, given that he was watching the Madoon fight, I think he did well to.
His acting is paid up where he's tweeting back.
Yeah. So yeah, is that all of the interactions?
We've got one more from #1 fan Robin Deacon. He says, Martin looks like a prick. Glasses don't suit him. I'm assuming he means you.
Oh, cheers, Robin. I was going to come up with another name for you. Yeah, no, cheers, Robin. That's great to know. I'll keep them on for you.
That's it.
Right, so on that basis, then we're going to move on and we're going to chat to my man over here, AD. How you doing?
I'm not bad, eh?
Alright, so you might have to speak up a bit, I think, AD, for the people back home. From what I understand, we're a bit quiet. Yeah, so you're coming off the back of your debut on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So how was it? Talk people through at home. What's it like coming out for your first ever win, and a few days on you've had time to reflect upon it? And
Well, obviously I'm still on a bit of a high. Just got my first win. I was nervous coming out in front of everybody. Not done anything like that. But as soon as I got in the ring, I was alright. You just switch off, get to do what you have to do, and that's it really.
but I was chatting to you beforehand. You seem quite like laid back. You didn't seem overly nervous or bothered.
No, I wasn't really started getting nervous until obviously my music come on and I had to come out.
Hey, right, so it was when you stood there, ring walk to
obviously,
come.
you're stood waiting while your opponent's walking out and he's in the ring, and then you go to come out and they say to you, hang on a minute, and that's when I started getting nervous. I thought, oh, here we go. But as soon as I got in the ring, I was alright.
Yeah.
Got to do what I had to do, really.
So Steve was saying earlier about your kind of limited background before turning professional. So where have you come from, boxing-wise?
The white collar scene.
All right.
So obviously I've done some white collar fighting. I didn't do no amateurs.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, obviously it's different when you're doing like white collar to professional. But I found it alright in there. I just listened to what my trainer said, and obviously, yeah.
So you're training out of
this stuff.
Okay. So I mean, how did you come about finding? I mean, when you start off as a professional boxer, the aspiration of being a professional boxer, how is it you find a training camp to work from? Is that one that you've worked from your white collar days?
Well, no, I boxed at the gym in Aylesbury, like, done my training there, and then I just didn't think there was any good really. Like, to put them
they're
down,
not watching.
to put them down, in other words, they're shit. They're trying to tell you how to box when none of them's been in the ring themselves. So I just looked on the internet, and obviously that gym come up, and he's a professional himself. Actually, he's fighting on Eddie Hearnshaw in Leeds against Sam Eggington. So obviously then I went down there, sat, and I got on really well with him, gelled with him, and to be fair, he's just bringing me on more and more every day I'm in the gym, helping me loads.
Yeah.
So Aylesbury's fucking shit.
Just in case you were wondering.
Just get that one out there.
So your debut, you came in a light heavyweight. Like, you're a big light heavyweight, aren't you? Like, you're a big lad.
Yeah.
Cool. 6'1", 6'2"?
6'3".
6'3". It was impressive. Like, you got the stoppage at third round.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, when I sat writing my fight report during it, I think I'd written by one point that I didn't think you were going to get the stoppage.
Yeah.
Like, you're working those body shots a lot.
Yeah, he was holding them body shots quite well.
Yeah, no, I say he looked like a pretty durable fella that wasn't gonna, he looked like you could have hit him all day and he would have stood up. And then you caught him with a peach of the left body hook, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's quite a nice shot, really. I watched it back. I'm not a body shot specialist, to be fair. I never ever go for the body in sparring.
But you worked that quite a lot on Saturday night, didn't you?
Well, when I went back to the round, the corner at the end of round one, my trainer said bring the body shots in. So he said work the right body shot. So obviously I went out there in the second round, worked the right body shot, and then he said to me at the end of the second, bring that left in, and then you're going to get him out with that left shot. So obviously I brought the left in, I caught him, and he went back. So I didn't want to jump on him, since it's my first fight, so I took my time, and then towards the end of the round, I got him with it, and he went down. That was it, really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the picture of his shot, like, I was sat next to where it happened, and you could hear the reverberation off of him. I thought, Christ. And like, the referee only got to about 4, by the time I think he'd called it off. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, were you pleased, or would you have rather on a debut gone the full 4 rounds? Like, is it experience or building that record of stoppages?
It's experience, really. If the stoppage comes, if you ask Brad, he never goes out and looks for the stoppage. It just comes, and you have to take it.
presents
Really.
itself.
If it comes,
It's an
you take it.
opportunity.
Other than you're happy with a points win. As long as you get the win, it doesn't matter really.
Yeah.
But if the stoppage is there and it comes, then yeah, you take it with both hands, really, don't you?
Yeah. I was getting a little bit worried about you at one point as well, because you started dropping the gloves and like coming in. So is that a style we're going to see from you, or is that because you were
I
comfortable?
got far too comfortable. I'm going to go back to the gym. I'm going to work on that. After the first round, I thought, he's not really coming much. He's letting me do all the work. I was chasing him, and he was missing. He was throwing wild shots and missing. And I just got far too comfortable, dropped my hands, which I know I shouldn't have done.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure if that's your style.
No, that's not my style. I could have got caught and ended up getting knocked out. So I'm going to go back to the gym, definitely work on keeping my hands up a lot more, and hopefully in my next fight we'll see the hands up and not down by my knees.
So do you think we'll see a different style to you next time you're out then? Like, there must be so many nerves and so much pressure as you go into that.
Yeah,
that
definitely. Obviously, your debut you are very nervous to do. So hopefully you will see a different style to me. I'm not just like that. I can box on the back foot, I can box on the front foot. I can have a tear up if I have to. So.
But I thought it was very, very controlled. Like, I think that was the main thing.
It was just calm and relaxed. I didn't want to rush nothing. I just wanted to take my time. And that's why I didn't, when I hurt him with a body shot, I didn't jump on him. So I just took my time and just let it come. So obviously, you're right, in your debut, you pant, like, you rushed, you get out of breath, you gassed out. Yeah. And you don't want to gas out before you finish the fight.
Yeah.
And then that's when everything can go pear-shaped, really.
So how's the experience then of being a pro boxer being compared to what you imagine? So I mean, all the stuff that goes along with it, like training alongside working and ticket sales alongside training and working.
Wow.
Like, has it been a hard slog?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's really hard. But I'm guessing when you're first starting out, that's something you have to do. And to be able to go full time, and you've got to obviously keep working, keep winning, and show that you can be one of them boxers to go full time in it. But my work's not too hard. They're quite lenient with it. If I need to have a day off, they let me have the day off. So yeah, it's just one of them things, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And I see you've got a little one on the way as
4
well.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah, your missus was there, weren't she?
Yeah.
Looking very, very pregnant and blooming with it. It was.
Yeah, 4 weeks left. Due August 15th. Quite excited for that.
Excellent. So I mean, do you think, is there any worry in terms of having a baby? Does that change your outlook on things and going into a boxing ring? Does it change, because at the moment without one you're concerned about yourself ultimately, with a little one there, like, does that change? Is there a concern that if you got hurt or whatever, or is it just it's business as usual?
If you box to orders off your coach, then you shouldn't really get hurt, really, should you? Maybe I do definitely need to keep my hands up now. I can't keep taking it, like, if I take shots, but it just motivates me more, really, to make a better life for her.
Excellent.
So
good. What's Adrian been like then, Steve, since meeting up with him?
Great to deal with. Just got to work a bit more on his on the marketing in Aylesbury, build him up a bit more, because Aylesbury's not really had a pro fighter for a while. Nathan Brown did a little bit out there, but he wasn't very heavily promoted. So we need to build up Aylesbury and have him as the Aylesbury Premier boxer and get Aylesbury behind him. That's what we need to work on. But he's been brilliant to deal with.
Yeah. No, a friend of mine actually, whilst I remember Shaz Chowdhury, who comes to a lot of your shows, he messaged me earlier saying, tell AD to get on social media more and market himself. So
yeah, I don't really do a lot of social media, but I will definitely start doing it a lot more now.
Yeah, no, he said tell AD to get on it and
it's really important
yourself.
when you're having to do the two jobs, the ticket selling. You need to interact more with people. You have to. It's part of the job, and you've got to do it.
Powerful tool, ain't it?
Why don't you use it then?
You've not seen my selfies. Come on.
Cutting actions, Mike. We've had one from Charlotte Joy saying, AD, give us a wave, promising future.
That's
So I found that. A troll for Brad? No, not really. No, it's not really. And Alfie Hoyer, big up Brad for making me come all the way to Bethnal Green for 2 rounds.
Which occasion?
You're welcome, mate.
And then JP Smith, AD, any chance you'll fight Liam Conroy soon? Obviously, I know you were scheduled to fight him the first time, but...
Well, I don't think I'll make the weight now. I'm going to step up to light heavyweight and stay there. So if he comes up, then yeah, we can have a fight. But if he doesn't, we ain't going to fight.
There you go, JP. That's the answer for that. That's all it is on my one. Josh?
No more.
All right. So in terms of like what are your aspirations? How far do you think you can go? Because with a limited background, you don't see that many kind of white collar, unlicensed fighters make it that big. So do you think like Nick Blackwell is probably the obvious one? That has.
I'm just going to take it fight at a time, one step at a time. I'm not going to say I'm going to become British champion, because you never know. Just take it one fight at a time, keep learning, keep improving, and hopefully, obviously, the big shots might eventually come. But I'm not going to make a bold statement. I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that.
Yeah.
No need for it.
Yeah, unlike the old training places, you're quite happy to make bold statements about.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's if you went down there and trained there, you'd understand.
What's the name of the matchroom fight? He fought for world title.
Lee Purdy.
Lee
Yeah.
Purdy. He was on like.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah. And got
Yeah, but that
schooled
fight
by,
wasn't actually. He didn't
But he
make
got-
weight for that, so it wasn't a world title fight, was it?
It was. I think he could only defend it or whatever it was, but Lee Purdy
But
could
he got to that level and had a had a go.
He stepped in for Kell Brook, didn't he?
Yeah,
Against,
yeah.
I can't remember who it was. But yeah, okay. So, in terms of like, when are we going to see you next out? Has that been decided upon yet?
Well, I spoke to Steve about it. I don't want to say nothing just yet. I want to concentrate on my little girl coming. And then, yeah, so I've decided when I next want to be out. So it gives me enough time to have out, so I spend time with my little girl, and then gives me enough time to get back into training, get fit enough for it.
Start getting some sleep.
Yeah, and just obviously hopefully keep the winning ways and see where it goes from there, really.
So build yourself. Do you reckon realistically again before the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely before the end of the year. One before the end of the year, so I've got 2 in this year, and then whenever.
Yeah.
He's going to go on. He's going to go on one of the big shows. Probably the biggest profile show we're going to do for the rest of the year. So
Oh right, okay. There you go. It's good news, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good news.
Excellent.
Steve's good to work with.
Yeah.
He helps you out as much as he can, and that's what you want in a manager.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then get yourself on social media as well.
Yeah, I'll
Or Shaz will tell me off.
Yeah, I'll definitely get on social media more.
Excellent. Right, I'm going to turn over to Brad on the other side.
Hello.
Looking suave, debonair as always.
Yeah.
So our man from Cornwall,
Yeah. Cornish pony.
the Cornish pony. What?
Like the Italian stallion.
That's
Cornish-
a terrible nickname. Yeah. So again, you're another one who was out Saturday night, finishing work early and getting out of there.
Short and sweet. Yeah, we like it. Straight to the pub.
So I mean, let's go back to your debut. Like your debut was one of the most impressive debuts, I think, because you're 3 fights in now, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think your debut was one of the most impressive that I've seen in a long time. Going out there, just blitzing an opponent, and then you followed it up with your second fight and did the same, and now your third fight. And it was only last week Steve was saying, it's going to be a change of opponent style for you.
Yeah.
And you've gone out and done exactly the same again. So, could you have envisaged a professional career starting as well as it has?
I'm not surprised. in the least.
That's like an ego.
No, like when as an amateur, I went around the country fighting some of the best lads, and then I understand how professional boxing works. You start off not fighting the best people in the country, and with the smaller gloves and stuff, it's quite realistic that might happen. I'm a firm believer in you get what you work for, so you put in the work and things like that are going to happen. But I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with my whole situation. And yeah, it's a good start, and it's a start that I think will turn a few heads and get you in a position where you want to be.
Yeah, because you've got, we're talking about social media stuff earlier, and like one of the things I remember with yourself is that little highlight video you've got of your amateur days.
Yeah.
And your knockout reels. So
Yeah.
like, you've been doing this for a long time, haven't you? You've been knocking people out
Yeah.
with bigger gloves and head guards on.
Yeah, I understand that social media is a powerful tool, and it's just you're basically using it as a way to advertise yourself and let people know what you're about and what you've done. And that video helped, and it's good to let people know what I was like as an amateur. And I've got plenty of knockouts like everyone knows, and it was good. It's good to show everyone what's been going on.
Yeah. So in terms of how hard is it going to be? We were discussing earlier about getting new opponents and things, and I know it's ultimately a question for Steve, but does it bother you about how hard it will be to get opponents that can stand up for more than 2-3 rounds?
It's not his problem. That's his problem. I just got to fight people.
Yeah.
I understand it might get a bit more tricky now, but as long as I'm putting in the work in the gym, that is the most important thing. If I'm in the gym putting in the work and improving like the way I am, I'll trust Steve, Kev, to get me the right fights at the right time. And it's a development, ain't it? You need the right fights at the right time at the start to bring you on and give you the rounds and all these things. And I have full faith in them to guide me on the right path.
Yeah. You're training with Terry down at Club KO, isn't you?
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got quite a good set of lads down there, isn't you? So Luke, who unfortunately lost on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But then Linus, Eudofia, Kay, various others I've probably forgotten. But I mean, is that important that Adrian as well goes down there a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, sparring.
Neil. Is that important to have that good variation of skills, weights?
Yeah, it's good. We've got, with me, Linus, Luke, and like Kay and stuff, we're all at Kay's obviously a bit further ahead, but we're all at a similar level. Yeah. And it is super competitive in the gym. In the sparring, we all get on really well, all really push each other, and it shows. Super competitive, we all bring each other on. I mean, the gym itself's really good. Like, you have boxers like Jake Ball in there, and we get regular sparring with him, and he's obviously a high quality fighter. So yeah, I think we have got a good, solid little team, and we're all there like for each other, with each other, as like to push each other on. We're all there for Luke, obviously, to support him after what happened on Saturday. We all want him back in the gym. We're all there to bring him back on for his comeback. So I've got a solid little team, and it does help, makes it easier. Yeah,
how important is that then in terms of, you say about Luke, and like, it was a vicious knockout, I was sat next to it when it happened, but I mean, how important is it that you all kind of gather around him? And I'm sure there's going to be an element of like, he's going to want a week or two off, go on holiday, I think he's doing, like, good luck to him with all of that. But like, getting back in the gym and just carry on. You know, a loss, it happens. Yeah. It's happened in his second fight. Yeah. So be it.
You know, like, we're all there for him as soon as he comes back, and like, because we see him week in, week out, day in, day out, and we train with him all the time. And then when he lost on Saturday, I'm sure it's the same for Linus and everyone else. It's horrible to see, and it's a reminder that that can happen in boxing. It's a brutal game. But best Luke has ever looked in the gym, and it happens. So we know how good he is, and we know that he can come back. We know who he is. He's a nice guy, and he'll be back in the gym, and he will come back, and he'll do really well.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think he will. Definitely. So yeah, you're tearing through the middleweight division then. Is there any element? It must be a hard one to mix up, because you want to build up this resume whereby you're knocking everybody out, and it looks great on BoxRec, and it looks great. You know, people could. I saw one of your friends tweeted to Sky Sports the other day saying, "Keep an eye on this lad." Yeah. So there's that element of it, but there's also, is it a concern to you that you're not getting the rounds in and that experience in the ring?
I think it will be eventually. As of now, I'm only doing 4 rounders, and it's still.
Well, you're not.
I'm not doing 2 rounders at the minute. No one does them. Yeah, I think we've got plenty of time to build up. There's no rush. I'm only 23, so bit by bit we are eventually going to get tougher people that will take me the rounds, and I'm just enjoying the ride. Like, it is great fun. I'm not going to lie. Like any boxer watching, everyone loves to knock someone out. That's why we do it. It's like scoring hat trick. So I'm enjoying it while I can, but eventually I'm going to fight someone harder. They're going to withstand my punishment.
And I'll hit you back. And
because in his second fight, he fought a guy called Nikolai Kolyandov. Nikolai Kolyandov fought Kevin Greenwood for a Masters title a year and so ago. He put Kevin Greenwood down before getting stopped in 5 rounds, but he gave Kevin Greenwood all the trouble in the world. And Kevin Greenwood only lost by 3 points to Tom Baker in a Southern Area title challenge in his next fight. Yeah. So you can't say that he's put away a kid that nobody does that to. Yeah. So this isn't a case of him being fed total bums who've never fought at any level. In his second fight, he fought a kid that had been at a decent level. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So they are getting me with tough fights. Like, you've seen it in my last fight with Theodore. He was meant to be tougher on paper.
He hadn't been stopped before, had he?
He'd never been stopped before. He'd won his last 2 fights on the spin. Had a winning record, 3 wins, 2 losses, and that is the fight you want at that time. It's just we're still finding these sort of whereabouts I'm gonna get these rounds, and that clearly isn't the level at the moment. Yeah. So
again, I realised, like, when I was writing on Saturday, when you landed that first jab in the first round, I thought he looked scared. Like, I could see into his eyes, he didn't fancy it at that point. Yeah. Can you tell that when you're in the ring with him?
I could tell by the way he was boxing the first round, because he was so negative, and it was up to me to seek and destroy. It's up to me to close the distance and find my range. And maybe he did feel the power of the first jab, and he didn't want to get involved. But at the same time, Theodore would have looked at my record and seen it's 2 wins, 2 knockouts, and that's going to be in his mind. And then for the next guy, they're going to see it's 3 wins, 3 knockouts, and that's going to be in their mind. So it's going to be like that. So yeah, he might have been a little bit scared, but it's only sort of normal, isn't it?
And that, I mean, the finish that came on Saturday, you hit the right body shot and then kind of flurried with the left, didn't you? Until the ref kind of spared him any more damage.
Yeah, hit him with the body shot, and yeah, it looked like it hurt him, and he just sort of covered up in the corner, and the ref didn't really have much choice because he wasn't defending himself. So yeah, that was all she wrote. But it was good. It was a really good night.
Is that a favourite shot of yours?
Sort of like left the body, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, see more of that in the next one.
And we've got to say about your crowd as well. Again, like going back to your first fight, you've got a mixture of the Cornwall crowd and the kind of London where you moved to now.
Yeah.
It was huge numbers, and like they've carried on through to the third fight as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, how big is that for you, having that kind of support from both areas of home, I guess?
Yeah, it's so much motivation for me. Like I can't say it enough. Like I say it all the time. I appreciate it so much because it's 5 hours from Newquay to come to London, and they come all that way, buy their ticket, get hotels all that way every single time. And they're just people that, my friends that just want me to do well. They understand I need to sell the tickets. They come all that way, and
then you mug your mate off by finishing it in 2 rounds.
I feel bad not getting their money's worth. Like I feel bad, but like I understand. I want to build myself in London and Essex. And this fight, I sold more tickets than I ever done in London and Essex. So I'm building myself there slowly but surely. Yeah, obviously it's a better place to box at.
And you're going to fight down Cornwall way sometime?
Yeah, going back down south. Yeah, going to take Terry on holiday. Yeah, he's going to love it. He's going to get a couple pasties. I'll go for a couple ciders after and that. Show him how we do it, go down beach. But yeah, no, speaking of Steve, we're looking at December for maybe one in Plymouth. And then we want one before that, so we're just finding the right show to have one in between. But the next two looking down south, yeah.
Excellent. Have you got any old gyms you want to call out, like AD?
They're all yeah, Golden Ring in Southampton. They brought me to elite level, and I got all my national titles with them. So yeah, thanks to Golden Ring and all the coaches, they're amazing. And Newquay ABC, unfortunately, I don't think runs anymore. So limited opportunity in Cornwall, but they got me going. So Gareth Young, big love to all you lot. So yeah, thank you very much.
Probably not worth mentioning, mate, to be honest. They're not there anymore.
Couple of interactions, Martin. We've had Dan Dino Draper, absolute lad, well done, mate. I'm guessing that's to you, Brad. Yeah. Danny Kent, new key support. And then Danny Dino Draper commented that Essex has adopted you, mate. You're one of us now. Yay. And Dan Hardy's just popped in with one. Brad Pauls, always been a legend. You've definitely played some of these off.
Yeah. That's my pass. Come on, I've lost my pass.
Can you recall the story for the people at home, by the way? I remember reading it on Facebook about your mate who ended up on a flight.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Oh, can you tell us his
That was blinding.
Right. Danny, he just commented, Danny Kent.
Was it him?
Danny Kent.
He was
there
that
on
lad
Saturday
was,
as well.
You're a legend.
Danny, you're a legend. So basically, Danny Kent, big friend of mine, like known him for years, come to my fight. Was it? That was my second fight. My second fight, yeah. With the intention of coming back to Newquay, all he had was his suit, passport, wallet, phone, that he was coming to London to watch my fight with, and got caught up in the moment. We all had a great time. We was all boozing, alcohol was flowing. Maybe a bit too much for Danny personally. And he kept sort of talking about going on holiday. He was like, yeah, shut up, Danny, like, you're not going to do that, what are you talking about? I got later and later, it was 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and little did we know, Danny had booked the next flight to Thailand. Don't know how he done it being that drunk. Lost his shoes, so he turns up on the flight with no shoes, no luggage, one-way ticket to Thailand. And there he is, so ended up in Thailand. And yeah, he's back now though, he's alright, he's made it home. So.
What a man, what a man.
Yes, Danny,
he's taking it above and beyond.
Getting on the plane?
He sobered up on the plane and scared the shit out of him apparently.
What a man.
He just put cheers boys and laughed. And then Joe Ellis, which I guess a friend of him, just put Danny the tranny.
Steve, I mean on a more serious note, how hard is it going to be for you to work with this lad when all he does is he's going out and hurting people quickly?
It isn't. It does just becomes more expensive at times. So, I mean,
people out.
Yeah, because the thing is, some will try and get more money. I mean, at the moment, you can still recruit foreigners to come over. They'll come. The UK, a lot of the UK journeymen will probably look at that and think, "So, no, thank you."
Yeah.
A good fight for him would be somebody like Kevin McCauley, who wouldn't be scared to go in. So someone like Kevin McCauley would be a really good fight for him to have. So potentially something like that for him. Somebody that really can stand and teach him a bit for 4 rounds, and probably find it very difficult with Kevin McCauley. It's not impossible. So fights like that, but it is going to be more difficult to get other kids.
Yeah. So how far do you think Brad's going to go? Because he's a bright light at the moment.
Well, look, he's going to. On what you see so far, he wins an area title.
Is it Nick Genman?
Nick Genman's the. But again, you're not going to put a 3-0 kid in with Nick Genman. But for example, when I said to Brad, we're talking about it today, and I said, end of 2017, we should be winning a Southern area title.
Yeah,
that's realistic. Then possibly the following year, consolidating on that, moving up to English level, and really there's no reason he won't win an English title. And then that's when you're moving on to the biggest.
You need to take a gauge, I guess, at that point, and you see how it's.
But the thing is, because he's not having many rounds, you've got to remember he's only had, realistically, probably about 4 rounds of boxing. So you can't go pitching him in big fights until he's had some rounds, because otherwise you can come unstuck if he's not had the experience. So we've got to sort of mix it up with people that are going to be much more solid and stand the distance. Because the thing is, even people like Nick Genman, you put him in a year's time, he'd probably blow him away as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one. I guess I'd imagine for Brad, you just want to be let off the leash a little bit and go out and.
Yeah. I think, one fight at a time though. I think I'm not going to start calling anyone out yet or saying I'm going to do these crazy things just yet.
6 months on, we're still talking about it with other fighters from Cade. No, don't do that.
I don't want a Cade situation. But it seems realistic, doesn't it? And it seems like keep winning, then these things are definitely going to happen.
As it happens though, Kay wasn't actually calling them out. You asked him what he would think he would do to them. Kay would fight anybody, so it was with him. He wasn't saying I want to fight all these. He was just saying that somebody come and fight me. And Rakeem, the champion, stepped up to the mark for him. It's great. And do you know what? You've got to give Rakeem Noble balls of steel, because he stepped up and fought him. Apart from Sia Osgood, who's also got balls of steel, Rakeem is the only one that's put his head above the parapet and wants to fight him. And he's got the title, so he's the man in the pole position. But those two guys, Rakeem Noble and Sia Osgood, deserve every credit for actually saying, I'll fight Kay Prosper.
Yeah, and that fight could still happen down the road.
Right, listen, I think at the end of the day, that fight could well happen. If they both keep winning, it could easily happen. Sia Osgood will soon qualify for, he can only qualify for Southern area. He'll qualify at some point for English titles, British titles. That fight will happen. There's no doubt that fight will happen. But there's just no point in it happening unless it's for something. Well, not for both of them, because Sia Osgood hasn't got the opportunities. But Kay, when he's qualified already and he's mandatory for Southern area, it doesn't make sense to give the Southern area to somebody else and go and fight a non-title fight. Stupid.
And how good is Kay in the gym then, Paul?
Yeah.
Paul, Brad.
He is. He's very, 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 very slick, awkward, and weirdly powerful for his weight. It's weird how powerful he is. Yeah. So working closely with him, I understand why these guys don't want to fight him. He's definitely a talent, and I think he definitely will go very far.
Yeah. Excellent. So, Adi, I mean, going back to you, with one fight in, when you hear about Steve saying how difficult it becomes to match Brad, looking at potential opponents, and does that kind of, you're 1-0 with one stoppage, do you sit there thinking, oh shit, like, all I want to do is beat people up, but now that makes it more difficult? Or
no, not really. Obviously, that's Steve and Kevin's job to find opponents for us to fight. At the end of the day, he's not gone out there thinking, I'm going to knock everyone out every time. He goes out there just to do what he has to do, and the stoppages come. And he takes them, and that's fair enough to him. If it gets harder for him, then he needs people that's going to push him to get him the rounds. And that's where Steve and Kevin come involved.
Yeah.
And Josh has a lot of it as well. He gets forgotten, old Josh.
Sitting silently behind the camera.
I've got to say, Josh does, just told us, he does an amazing amount of matchmaking. He's actually, I would say Josh does more, Kev does a lot of the foreign stuff, Josh does more of the actual UK matchmaking than any of us. Does a really good job. He's really, and if we and Kevin will say the same, isn't it? If we go and we get matches together, no match is ever made without Josh's approval. And it sounds crazy because we will all discuss it with him. He has got the most amazing judgment of a fight.
Yeah.
And I would actually say he's got a better judgment probably than me and Kev, and I'll accept that. He's got an amazing judgment of a fight. So we work as a team. So every decision, at the end of the day, is a team decision. All three of us work together on all the matches, and and we all sort of seek each other's opinions. So at the end of it, I don't think one fight is ever approved out all three of us sitting down and agreeing it.
Yeah.
We meet all the time to do it, and that's what it's all about, and that's why. But it shows you on Saturday. Despite the fact I think we're good at what we do, we can't fight for boxers, and sometimes they get beat.
You can't guarantee a win.
You can't guarantee a win. Sometimes the boxers don't they have an off day, or leave their chin in the air, or coming out of shape, or get disqualified, or whatever it is. You can't help that. It just happens. But we do everything we can, and if we always say to the boxers, if you turn up on form, on the top of your game, then at the end of the day, that will be fine. But you can't do everything in the ring. But you can only do so much.
I always think, like, from a fan's perspective, that you hear stories of, say, journeymen aren't there to win, or you see quite a lot of criticism online about too many foreigners being brought over, etc. Actually, seeing them win every now and then, it's great.
But the key, what we do that's a bit different, I think, is if you've got I'm going to mention Elliot Matthews, who's verging on a British title fight.
Yeah.
He's fighting Dan Blackwell. Are you really serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? There's got to be some sort of, there's no excuse for that. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
It's a dangerous fight.
If it's, for who? For Dan Blackwell?
Well, yeah, for health rather than...
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Dan Blackwell's just going to get...
Tough man.
He's a tough man, but let's be honest. When you've got fighters at that level, we want our fighters to progress and fight. Now, you were talking about Elliot Matthews was about to fight Chris Eubank Jr. a while ago.
Yeah.
Fine, accept that. So, good preparation. Let's fight Dan Blackwell and a couple of foreign thingies, and then we'll fight Eubank Jr. You've got to progress your fighters. So even if you're building from, like Brad, from 3 to 6, he's not going to be fighting the same calibre of fighter in fight 6 as round 3. Elliot Matthews is fighting the same calibre of fighter in fight 19 as he probably would have fought in fight 4 or 5. It's just ridiculous. It's just nonsense.
That's how Tom Duran ended up getting outclassed against Eubank as well, wasn't it? Like, his
You've got to have a
opponent.
Don't jump from there to there. Do it gradually. Now, when you do the gradual thing, and that does help a fighter's career long term, you look at Johnny Garton, how I've managed him since we took Johnny Garton over. You get to where you're going to go and to the levels, but you could have the odd slip up as you go through. But it's far better than just doing this fighting nobodies for so long and getting splattered when you step up. We need our guys to be able to compete at those levels. Because other than that, you're earning no money fighting for nothing. It's just pointless. So I don't get that. So we do look at progression rather than, oh well, okay, he's 18 and 0, he's 35 years old. Let's put him with Dan Blackwell.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Have we got any interactions, brother?
One more. Tom Little, I want to put Steve on the spot. Pick a winner of me and Dom. And I assume you mean Dominic Akinley.
Honestly, if Tom Little turns up in shape and turns up and he's got 10 rounds in him, I'd fancy Tom Little to win. If Tom's so there's the answer. If Tom is not on top of his game, then Dom will win because Dom is very, very tough and he'll outstamina Tom. Dom will outlast Tom. But if Tom is in shape and he knows if he is in shape, I'll go with Tom.
Any others?
Yeah, a couple on there. JP Smith again, massive respect to Steve for getting K the title fight. Can't wait to see him take that belt. Joe Turner Field, Brad, can you give AD any tips on getting ticket sales?
Social media. We spoke about it before. You've got to let people know what you're up to, and you've got to let them see how hard you're working, and you've got to make people believe in your journey that you're going to go where you think you're going to go, and you've got to promote yourself and always let them see your skill set and stuff, how hard you work. So just utilise social media in this day and age. It's a really, really powerful tool.
So give them that behind the scenes information that a fan would normally see.
Make it personal. Speak to the camera, stuff like that.
Encourage questions. I always think that's an important.
Yeah, interact with everyone. Speak to everyone. Like socialise, social butterfly. Speak to as many people as you can because you want people to be on the same page as you. Like feel like they're on the same journey with you, and that's how it works. And it's the way to do it. You've got to get people believing in you, like believe in yourself, sort of thing. So that's my advice to you.
I always think the prime example of that is David Allen fighting Dillian White. Now, David Allen hasn't even won, like, say, the Northern Area title. And he'll say that by his own admission.
He said it the other day.
He's the most honest, but like, I was on the phone to David last night for 40 minutes about various things. But by his own admission, he's not that high level of fighter, and yet Sky are building up his fight with Dillian White as if it's a world title fight in Leeds. And like, if you speak to him about it, he said it's not. He said it's just an area level Deontay Wilder was how he described himself. So like that's how honest he is about it. But he takes those questions from fans all over Twitter and he builds that repertoire
Rapport.
the rapport with all the people that want to then follow him. And the amount of people that I've seen tweet him saying, I'm a white fan, but actually I kind of want to see you win this fight now, just because he builds that interaction.
Powerful.
Funniest guy on social media.
Funniest guy,
Right.
he is the funniest guy.
That fan tweet is still the best tweet ever. Right, Mark, Minty Kendall, well done, Brad, keep it going. Luke Robinson's joined. How you doing, Luke? Hope you're okay. Tom Goods, go on, Brad, and Wayne Carter. Wayne, I think we covered this, but any news on the next fight, Brad? I know you've touched on it, but just if you want to mention it again.
September, October?
September, October, it depends on where the shows are and how it fits in with Brad's fans and who's promoting it, and then if that promoter will have him on. Because remember that promoter's going to look at him and think that's going to be expensive.
Also depends if his mate's back from Thailand by then. That's one more ticket.
That's it on turn to this one.
What he just says, just commented, get me another easy fight, Steve, LL, hashtag fun time.
Waddy, I need you to clarify. Reese, I think he's your personal trainer, told me I'd written your fight report wrong. But I haven't got a clue what he's telling me that I've written wrong, so I need you to clarify for it. You'd like to tweet as well, so I don't know what I've done. But yeah, I reread it, I thought it was fairly okay.
If you do say yourself.
Yeah.
I reread it and I thought it was brilliant.
I reread it, I thought it was brilliant actually. Better than the fight itself. Yeah, so no, I think that's probably about it. Is there anything that we've missed out? Any sponsors you don't want to shout out? Because that's always a big thing for fighters, isn't it? Like, give your sponsors a mention.
If you look on my social media, I tag them in all of my posts and my videos. All real good, genuine, honest, local business in Cornwall. So just give them a follow. They're nice people. I appreciate it and make my situation very comfortable. Thank you.
In other words, Brad can't remember the names of his. Aiding.
I'm the one that Risk Point Homes. They've obviously backed me from when I first signed pro. Obviously then getting injured, still supporting me. Going to carry on supporting me, so a big thank you to them.
Yeah, 'cause it's always an important thing for fighters, isn't it? Just to have that backing and just a little bit of extra financial support, keep them going. I'm sure many fighters kind of. I mean,
need it.
Brad's got quite a lot. I'm being quite facetious about
I've got 9.
because you've got 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, do look him up and
Look 'em up, thank
tweet
you.
him out after this. as
One more
well.
question, Mark, that's just come in, a bit of a different one. Question to all of you. If you can have a meal with any boxer, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Oh,
Great question.
Great question.
Who's that?
Who's that from?
Adam Middlebrook.
Oh no, Adam. Hi, Adam.
Great
Hi, big
question.
boy.
Go on, AD from the left.
I'll probably say Carl Froch. He just, obviously, he was my weight. I've watched all of his fights. And yeah, that's it really.
If you had to tell ADO 80,000 people watched it.
Steve, go on, then. Whilst I still keep thinking.
has to be. There's only one. It's got to be Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Has to be for me.
I think Butterbean.
Butterbean, wow.
Because we'll be eating somewhere really like fatty, wouldn't we? So treat yourself. you know
Out
what I
of
mean?
camp.
Yeah, out of camp.
Do you know Butterbean's real name?
Eric Etz.
That's it.
Eric Etz, yeah.
Eric Etz, yeah.
Really?
Brad Pauls.
I'm going with Chris Eubanks Senior.
Oh,
I think that'd
Only
be
if he
phenomenal-
dances.
That'd be a phenomenal meal. Like the guy's off his nut. Who wouldn't enjoy that? Any others before we call it a
That's
day?
it.
That's it.
do you know what though? If you do have the meal with Chris Eubanks Senior, what you want to do is have him on one side, Frank Warren there, and Eddie Earn there. That'd be a great foursome.
Now,
wouldn't it?
what I want to do is at the end, I just want me and him, and I want to negotiate who's paying the bill. I'm going to see how long we can string it out for. Right, there we go. End of the night. It's been a bit of a on the fly one, really, out in the garden.
Yep.
It's been quite nice. And next week's our last one before we take a break
Celebration.
for August. Then we'll be back in September. So we'll see you again next week, and thank you for watching.
Cheers.